Ozempic and Mounjaro are the big stars of weight loss. Everyone wants the magic pens to have the body of their dreams. But there are two problems: the side effects and the super high price. The monthly treatment with Ozempic costs around 1,000 reais, and in the case of Mounjaro, this amount can reach up to 2,400 reais per month. But what nobody is talking about is that there is a natural substance without the side effects of these medications, and it's much cheaper. But does it really work? Hello family, welcome to another video here on our channel. In today's video, we're going to compare Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Berberine. Which of these options is most suitable for your case? The pros and cons of each of these strategies. So go ahead and leave your like on this video, give it a thumbs up, share it in your groups, and tell me, are you overweight? Have you tried everything? Have you ever thought about using these pens? Tell me in the comments below. My friends, don't forget to visit my website. On my website, you'll find all the supplements I use and recommend. You guys are always asking me, right, Moacir, what's the best magnesium? What's the best omega-3? What's the right dose of vitamin D? It's all there on my website. Just go to the supplements tab. My courses are there too. My other social media, it's www.drmoacir.com.br. Or even easier, just go to Google and type Moacir Rosa. You'll find me there. Let's divide this video as follows. First, I want to talk about Ozempic. Then I want to talk about Mounjaro. After all, these are the two magic pens, right? Everyone wants to know about these pens. Who wouldn't want to get a little shot and lose weight quickly? But what about the side effects? Hold on, we'll get there. Later, I want to talk about Berberine, which is a natural alternative, how each one works, the advantages, the disadvantages. And then at the end, I want to talk about who benefits from each strategy, all right? Let's start with Ozempic, which is semaglutide. An interesting fact about Ozempic is that it was originally not developed as a weight loss medication, okay? It was a medication developed for diabetes control. But what did they notice? The patients who were using semaglutide Ozempic were losing weight very quickly. So it started being used for weight control as well. That's what we call an off-label effect, okay? Many medications on the market are used off-label. Want a great example? Viagra. Viagra, which is sildenafil, was a medication initially developed for cardiovascular disease. And what did they observe? That men became more excited, became more potent. Today, Viagra and its successor, right, tadalafil, is used for impotence. Also an off-label use, but let's get back to Ozempic. Ozempic is a glucagon-like peptide, one agonist, which is a hormone known as glucagon-like peptide. What is an agonist, Moacir? An agonist is an artificial substance that enters the glucagon-like peptide, one receptor, and produces the same effect as glucagon-like peptide, one. So, it mimics glucagon-like peptide, one. Okay? What is glucagon-like peptide? One, it's an incretin. And what does semaglutide do when it binds to the glucagon-like peptide? One receptor, several things. First, it controls insulin more efficiently, making the pancreas produce insulin more efficiently. And that's great, especially for people with diabetes and especially for those who are overweight. After all, being overweight is often caused by insulin resistance, and excess insulin is due to a poor diet. And this insulin control through glucagon-like peptide, one agonist, is very effective, both for diabetes and for weight loss. But it doesn't stop there. It slows down gastric emptying, meaning the food stays in the stomach longer, which increases satiety. You tend to eat less. But it also acts on the hypothalamus in our brain. It stimulates satiety in the hypothalamus. So, you see that it works on satiety in two ways, by slowing down gastric emptying and by increasing satiety directly in the hypothalamus. If you eat less, feel less hungry, and feel fuller, you'll lose weight. But it also affects other mechanisms, which I won't detail here. It reduces gluconeogenesis, activates AMPK, and brings good results. What results are those, Moacir? Around 12 to 15% weight loss. However, the cost is quite high, okay? As I mentioned, the treatment today, while I'm recording this video, costs around 1,200 Rs per month. Its patent will expire in 2026. So, there are already Brazilian laboratories that want to produce semaglutide in a generic form. So, the tendency is for the price to drop, but it won't drop that much, okay? Our experience with generics shows that the price drop takes about 2 to 3 years. Anyway, the cost is high. Okay, and what about Mounjaro, Moacir? Well, Mounjaro works similarly to Ozempic, okay? It's tirzepatide. It's also a glucagon-like peptide, one agonist. In other words, it works exactly like Ozempic, right? Slowing gastric emptying, controlling insulin production, acting on the hypothalamus, activating AMPK. Exactly the same, okay? But Mounjaro also acts as a glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide agonist, all right? Which is the glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide. They use the initials, folks, because the name is really long, right? So it's easier to call it glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide. Besides all these effects, also acts on the pancreas, modulating insulin through another mechanism, okay? And it acts directly on the adipocyte, which is our fat cell, speeding up lipolysis. In other words, speeding up fat burning. That's exactly why Mounjaro is more efficient. Both in glycemic control, that is for diabetes management, and in weight loss. How much, Moacir? Around 22% weight loss. Notice that this is much higher than the results from Ozempic. However, the cost is also much higher, so we have a monthly cost of around 2,400 Rs per month. That's a lot of money, it's steep. And what about the issues with Ozempic and Mounjaro? The side effects aren't few, okay, my friends. The most common are nausea, the urge to vomit, and often people do throw up. Diarrhea, constipation, that general discomfort. A lot of people say you lose your appetite, that you don't eat exactly because of this discomfort, because of this side effect. Part of the effect may actually be because of that, yes. But you have other problems, like the potential loss of lean mass, right? You lose muscle, right? Because you increase catabolism, and when you increase catabolism, you break down both fat and muscle as well. It's a problem, right? You risk pancreatitis and eating disorders. There's the famous Ozempic face. Have you heard about it? The person ends up with a thin face, right? She loses weight so fast here that her head looks huge, like a walking lollipop, right? So, there's this problem, right? This side effect, the rebound effect after stopping, which, by the way, is a problem with most medications used for weight loss, right? The person starts using the medication, loses weight very quickly, and then goes back to eating, often even more than they did before. Okay, this is very common, okay? I'm going to explain here, my friends, that every weight loss strategy has the purpose of decreasing your appetite so you can change your eating habits, okay? You need to take advantage of this period when you don't have as much appetite, when you feel fuller, and change your eating habits. If you think you're going to take these pens and keep eating the same way you do today and still lose weight, I'm sorry to tell you that's not going to happen. That's a bad strategy, okay? Ideally, you should use the time you're taking these medications to change your life, to change your eating habits. And what about Berberine, Moacir? Well, Berberine is a natural option that works in a way very similar to these pens. Okay? Berberine is an alkaloid that is present in several plants. Okay? What does Berberine do? The main mechanism of Berberine is to activate AMPK. What does AMPK do? Again, more acronyms, right? Just say AMPK instead of activated protein kinase. So what does AMPK do? It increases glucose uptake into the muscle via glucose transporter 4. Okay, so that glucose that's circulating in excess, the muscle absorbs that glucose. That's great for people with diabetes and for those who want to lose weight, right? Lower glucose means less insulin needed, reduced resistance, and less fat. It reduces hepatic gluconeogenesis, okay? It inhibits enzymes there that reduce this gluconeogenesis. increases fatty acid oxidation. In other words, it increases fat burning. This all occurs via AMPK, which reduces lipogenesis or new fat formation. Just that alone would already be a fantastic mechanism, both for diabetes control and for weight loss. But berberine also increases the secretion of glucagon-like peptide, 1. And unlike Mounjaro and unlike Ozempic, which are agonists, they bind to the glucagon-like peptide, one receptor tricking the receptor. Berberine doesn't do that. It stimulates the production of endogenous glucagon-like peptide, one natural glucagon-like peptide, 1. For this reason, it doesn't have the side effects of either Mounjaro or Ozempic. That's a positive point for berberine, right? So it will increase the expression of insulin receptors, obviously improving insulin resistance. It also reduces inflammation, okay? It's an anti-inflammatory substance through the inhibition of NF-κB, which is an inflammatory mediator. You also get an improvement in your gut flora, okay? Some butyrate-producing bacteria, which is a short-chain triglyceride essential for our gut, are stimulated by berberine. So it improves your gut and reduces inflammation in your body. So it has this effect of controlling diabetes, it has this weight loss effect, and it improves the microbiota. It even has an effect that neither Mounjaro nor Ozempic have. The control of triglycerides, cholesterol, some studies show this, okay? A reduction of 20 to 30% in cholesterol. I, for example, use berberine to control cholesterol. Okay? I use berberine and I also use red yeast rice combined with inositol hexanicotinate. Okay? So berberine, it is crowned by this extra function of reducing cholesterol and lowering triglycerides. Of course, my friends, it works in a much gentler way, right? Berberine is a milder medication, but besides not having the side effects, actually there's a little problem, okay? If you're already diabetic, if you use metformin, you need to be careful because berberine is so effective at lowering blood sugar that it might enhance the effect of metformin. And you could have a sudden drop in your blood sugar. It's rare for that to happen, okay? It's rare, but it can happen. That's the only problem with berberine. Other than that, it doesn't cause any side effects. And besides that, the cost is much lower, right, my friends? Much lower. You can't even compare. So, the ideal thing is this. If you're very overweight, if you have severe diabetes, then it's more recommended for you to use the pens, whether it's Ozempic or Mounjaro. If you're just pre-diabetic, you're not that overweight and you can manage your diet better. Berberine is more recommended for you. But in neither of the two strategies, let me emphasize this again, okay? If you don't take advantage of this treatment period to change your eating habits, that's what will help you lose weight in a sustainable way. Change your eating habits. So take advantage of the fact that you're undergoing treatment. Whether it's the pens, of course the pens require a prescription, right? Berberine doesn't. Anyone can buy berberine. But whatever strategy you're using to lose weight, you have to take advantage of this action to improve your diet. That's the big solution for permanent weight loss, okay? If not, unfortunately, it's just another medication with potential, but it won't work. Okay? My friends, my website again, all right? My website is www.drmoacir.com.br. Didn't get it? Type Moacir Rosa on Google and you'll find my website, you'll find my Instagram, my TikTok, my other social networks. It's all there. On my website, you'll find my courses, the list of supplements I mentioned to you. It's all there, okay? If you're not subscribed to this channel, my friends, it doesn't cost anything, okay? It's free. Just click on subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. Don't forget to select all. I hope you enjoyed our video. Every day at 6:30 in the morning, we have our live streams. Don't miss it, okay? And I'll be waiting for you, my dear friends, in our next content, okay? Don't forget to share. Did you forget to like it there? Like it now. Big hug and see you next time, my friends.